This is one of my all-time favorite lessons for the hip joints. I might just call it Hip Joints Foundation class. We will explore basic hip movements and see how these movements connect to the upper body and legs. As an added benefit, if you have painful knees, this class might help your knees to feel a lot better. Hi, this is Alphonse. Today we will do a class, Feldenkrais class of somatic education. You will need some floor space, and this lesson is about the hip joints. Actually, there is no such thing as a lesson for hip joints. The lesson is always for the whole person, for the whole self. But you will feel something in your hip joints and maybe in your knees. Something good will happen. First, we need to know a little bit about where are the hip joints. So let me just quickly review of how to find the hip joints. For this I use a generic model or generic female model. I zoom in a little bit. So this is the area of interest where we will find the hip joint. But where exactly are they? So if I look at a skeleton at this area, here we have the lumbar spine, the sacrum, the ilium. This looks like a shovel. And on top here we have a rim, which is the iliac crest, and on the furthermost part here, the anterior superior iliac spine. This is a pointy little bone, a hard little bone you can actually feel if you look for it. Let's go here. If we look at this area, if you just touch here on your own body, you will find this bone. You will find that somewhere around here is this anterior superior iliac spine. This is this hard bone we can find here. Then there's another structure here. It's the pubic bone. Also a bone which can be palpated from outside. So if you try to find it at your body, here it will be in this area. A hard little bone which looks like this actually. Now, if we draw a line between those two areas, just a straight line down, and then half it, this is almost exactly the location where we'll find the hip joint. The hip joint is here. As you can see, there's the femur, the upper leg bone, thigh bone, with the ball joint. Here, if we look at this picture, we can see this femur is a long upper bone. Here, down here would be the knee, and here this is actually the ball which goes into the hip socket. So we have these two little bony parts. We can connect them with a straight line, and in the middle will be the hip joint. If I take this femur, this bone, and just place it here, around here, you see it almost exactly matches. On the outside, you can also palpate something. You can feel there's a bony part, but this is not your hip joint. This is the greater trochanter. This is another point, another area of your upper leg bone, femur. And of course, the same is on the other side. Let's just draw it. Around here, you should feel one bone, then the other bone down here. You just imagine a line, and in the half of it, there will be the hip joint and of your left side. So please come to lie onto your back. As always, it's important that you can hear me. You focus on your own movements, and if something is not clear, you can look at the screen and see what I'm doing. I'm not a role model, but I will do it together with you, and I will do the movements myself, so if something is not clear, you can have a look. All right, on to our backs. Then please get your feet to standing, with the knees pointing towards the ceiling, if you have a room with ceilings. And then take hold of your right knee with your hands, so that you hold your right knee somehow with both hands. In a way, you feel comfortable holding your right knee. The thing is, the foot should be away from the floor, in the air, just hanging in the air. Don't do a posture like a posture that is full of tension, but just let your foot hang, loosen your ankle, and you just hold your right knee comfortably. And then let your right knee drop a little bit to the right, or sink a little bit to the right side. Just let it sink, 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 sink to the right. Just a bit. Don't try to touch the floor with your right knee, and then bring it up again. Do this a couple of times, like always. It's a movement to explore. You can hold your knee with one hand or both hands. It doesn't really matter. Important is this movement to the right, to the center, and you can also go to the left and back to the center a bit. And there's a couple of things to sense and to notice. Here, the hip joint, there's a ball joint. In this regard, it can really move quite freely, move around. And when you do this movement, you might be able to feel that, this freedom. You might be able to get a feeling for your hip joint. It should be your upper leg bone that moves inside and outside. Try to discern, to distinguish between your pelvis and your hip joint. So at some point it's only your leg that is moving and your pelvis is stable. Try to stabilize your pelvis so that the pelvis doesn't roll left or right. So it's just your knee that moves left or right. But if you go more far, you will feel that the pelvis is moving, that your pelvis is rolling. So the upper leg bone, the femur, will hit against the rim, the outside edge of the acetabulum of the hip socket, and then it will drag the whole pelvis with it. Try to be able to feel this difference between it's just a movement in the hip joint, or it's a movement in the hip joint and the pelvis is rolling. And of course, when the pelvis is rolling, then you can feel it up to your shoulders, maybe up to your head, down to the left foot. It's just a gentle movement left and right. And try to find, don't be like a robot who is fixed in a trajectory, in a position left and right. Just find where is the best position for your knee to go left and right. There are differences. Try to do it in a mindful manner. Try to feel something. Is there something to feel? It should feel warm, nice, cozy. It shouldn't hurt. Don't go anywhere where it does hurt. Just stay in a comfortable range. I can feel something. It feels really nice. That's what I feel. I have a nice feeling. It's simple as that. I have a feeling. It's the opposite of mindfulness. It's like I'm losing my mind. I just can feel this movement. And I lose everything else. I just have this movement left and right. Alright, then get your foot to standing again. Extend your legs. Take a short break. Get your feet to standing again. Get hold of your right knee again. And this time, drag your right knee a little bit up, more towards your chest, and down more towards your feet standing, right? Just a little bit up and down. And here also, which pathway do you choose? Is it like a little bit of a circle, or is it a straight line? Does it go closer to your midline? Is it more far outside? How big of a movement do you choose to make? How does this feel compared to the other one? So we have a line perpendicular to the first line. This is up and down, and before we had left and right. How much do you use the muscles of your hip to do this movement? Or is it just your arm that is moving the knee, the leg? Or do you distribute it evenly? 50% leg muscles, 50% arm muscles. What do you do? Check. So we have up and down, left and right. So try to make circles with your knee. Your ankle should be hanging very loose. Circles, and see, you can make circles with your hip joint. Or if you make the circles bigger, then it's also your pelvis that rolls. Explore this. Small circles, where it's only the hip joint affected, or bigger circles, where it's the hip joint and your pelvis that is rolling. Try different directions of circles. You can move with both hands, or just the left hand, or just the right hand, just as you please. And then take a break again. I think we'll do the same thing on the left side too, right? So we don't end up limping or being one-sided. So get your feet to standing again. This time get hold of your left knee. And move your left knee to the inside and to the outside. Do you feel any difference to the right side? To your right hip joint? Does your left foot hang differently than your right foot? Is the range of motion larger in your left hip joint than it is in your right hip joint? These are just questions to ponder. How is your feeling on the left side compared to the right? Then also try up and down. Can you? Is it the hip joint or is it the pelvis that is moving? Is it a pelvic tilt back and forth, or is it really your upper leg bone moving in your hip socket? Then you can try circles, counterclockwise circles, small circles. Where is the center point of your circle? Circling. Then stand your left foot again, extend your legs, take a short break. For me, this lesson, every time I do it, will change how I feel my connection to the floor with my chest. So my chest will lie slightly different position every time I elongate my legs. It's very interesting. I feel much more comfortable lying down like this, just after a few circles with the legs. What else can we do? Please get your feet to standing, get hold of your right knee, and we will work with the right foot. So please start to flex your right foot. There's two ways to flex it, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. One means to draw the toes closer to the shin bone and let go again, or to extend the foot to bring the toes downwards, up and down. And then there's the instep. So do you lift your toes first, or do you lift your toes last, or do the toes point in the other direction? What do you do with your toes? Do you flex your foot together with the toes or without the toes? What do you think of when you flex your foot? Try to think of your heel. To bring the heel closer to your knee and to extend the heel downwards to bring your right heel further away from your knee. So this is Try to think of your toes up and down. Flex your foot together with your toes, with your forefoot, or with your heel. Of course, this is different directions. When the toes go down, the heel go up. When the toes go up, the heel will go down. Two different ends of the foot. And try to make circles with your right foot, with the toes in the air. Maybe think of your big toe. You can take breaks. If this is strenuous, let's take a break. Just relax everything. Elongate your legs. It's interesting in the class with 8 people to see who dares to take a break first, or who is very comfortable with the movement and wants to explore and doesn't want to take a break. And this varies. And you can never tell. It's always different. Please bring your feet to standing again. Get hold of your right knee and start to do these foot movements again. So we have up and down with the foot, with the forefoot, and left and right with the forefoot. Also try this. Left and right, up and down. There's a couple of more movements you can do with the foot. You will notice there's 5 toes and lots of bones inside the foot. And the ankle, there's 2 ankles, and there's many, many little bones and tendons and muscles and things you can do with the foot. Try to do circles with your big toe. Do it slowly enough so you can feel it's really circles. Try to feel the circle. It shouldn't be very jerky. If it's very jerky, do it slower, 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 slower. What do you do with your toes? What are your toes supposed to do? They should just support the circles. And counterclockwise circles. Try to do circles with your heels. So this would be a completely separate lessons, circles with the foot, because there's so many things to look at there. But now just in general, so you get an idea of circling your foot. Your body is reminded again of these possibilities. Take a short break. Elongate your legs. We will follow up with the left leg. Please bring your feet to standing again. Get hold of your left knee. Start to flex your left foot. Toes up, toes down. Heel up, heel down. And just the middle foot. And the toes can go in opposite directions or the same directions. Play with it a little bit. I don't suggest a system today or a special movement sequence for that. Just up and down. Do it mindfully. First think what you're going to do. Then move. Then sense. Then feel. These are 4 terms, very interrelated. Then left and right, the toes. Left and right, the heel, of course. If you hold your left knee with both hands, while you do circles with your foot, or left and right, whatever you do with your foot, you might be able to feel it in your knee. There's bones moving in your knee. There's 2 bones from below. Fibula and tibia, I think that's the names. Schienbein und Wadenbein. Shin bone, and then there's another bone here. It's 2 bones in the lower leg, just like there's 2 bones in the lower arm. And you can feel these bones moving together with the foot. Is that weird or is that beautiful? Try to do beautiful circles with your toes or with your heels. You could think of your 4th toe and do circles with your 4th toe, or of your middle toe and do circles with your middle toe. Bring your middle toe up and down. Where do you hold? Do you hold your breath? Check. Do you hold your pelvis? Is there habitual tension in your pelvis? Try to really lie down with your pelvis on the floor. Have minimal effort in your chest. Have minimal effort in yourself. Just try to rest but you hold your left knee. Before we did circles with the knee, just bring your knee in a position that's comfortable, where you feel at ease holding your knee. And in this position, start to work with your foot. Foot up and foot down, and left and around and around. And then bring your left foot down, stretch out your legs, take a short break. Feel how you feel. Sense how you lie. How is your chest? Did your chest change? My chest changes with this lesson. Then get your feet to standing again. Get hold of your right knee. With your right hand, get hold of your right foot, the outer part somewhere. Try to reach there, or your sock somewhere down there, and start something. Bring your right foot a little bit to the outside and to the inside, while the knee stays in the position. Your left hand is on your right knee. Your right hand is on your right foot. And just bring the foot a little bit to the left and to the right, which will result in the rotation of your upper leg bone, femur. Right? Can you feel this rotation? And then drop your lower leg so the foot goes down a little bit and up a little bit. Down a little bit and up a little bit. The same. It's two lines, two perpendicular lines. And start to make circles with your foot while holding the knee. And you can feel there's a rotation of the upper leg, and the ball of the upper leg should play in the hip socket. But if you start to do this movement bigger, there might be some tension in the pelvis or even some movement in the pelvis. Try circles in both directions. Try to be soft, try to be smooth. Then bring your foot to standing again. Elongate your legs, take a short break. Bring your feet to standing again. Get hold of your left knee with your right hand, and with your left hand, reach for your left foot. And start to do lines there. You have left and right. If you go left and right with your left foot, then there's a rotation in the upper leg. And up and down. And circles with the left foot in the air. Try to make this smooth, try to feel if there's any restrictions in your hip joint. Then take a break, elongate your legs. Now we will do something bigger. We will put all this movement together in a bigger movement. Please bring your feet to standing. Get hold of your right knee with your left hand. With your right hand, get hold of your right foot and start to drag the foot to the outside. More and more to the outside. So we have this rotation of the upper leg, and just feel where can you go. You need to drag your right foot to the outside. And with the left knee can cross the midline. The left knee should cross the midline all the way until you can touch the floor on your left side with your right knee. So the right foot goes to the outside. The left knee crosses the midline and touch down on your left side. It starts to be a big movement, but start it small. Start to feel where this movement goes, And then there's a rolling movement, of course. You roll with your upper body, you roll with your whole body. Your left leg can do whatever is necessary, whatever you want to do. Your head can do whatever you want to do with your neck and your chest until you're able to touch down on the floor with your right knee on your left side. And then come back again and try to make this smooth and try to connect everything. There's a rotation till you touch down there. You come back. And everything is allowed as long as you fulfill the requirements of dragging your right foot to the right and your right knee to the left. Then take a short break. You can pause the video at any time and continue the video at any time. This changed something in my back. I can feel how my lower ribs, the flying ribs, can touch the floor more. Not that this is a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But it's just my upper body became more supple. Okay, get your feet to standing. Get a hold of your left knee. With your left hand, touch your left foot. Get a hold of your left foot from the outside and start to drag your left foot to the left. And bring your right knee over the midline. Same movement, just to the other side, until you can touch the floor with your right knee. And then take a rest again. Check how you're lying, check how you feel. Should be peaceful, more or less, unless you have a dog or a cat trying to sit on top of you. Now we'll find another relation to gravity. Please come to sit. Sit with your right leg bent backwards. Just adjust the camera. Bend your right leg backwards and your left leg straight in front of you. And with the left hand, touch the floor somewhere behind you. It's like hurdle jumping position. Right foot is backwards, left leg is long in front of you. Left hand needs to touch the floor, and with your right hand, get hold of your right knee. Now, the task. This is the starting position. The task is lift your right knee together with your right hand. Lift the right knee until the knee is pointing towards the ceiling, and then flip the right knee over to the other side. That's the task. So there's 3 ways to do this. You can stop the video if you want to find out the 3 ways. If you don't know the 3 ways to do it, you can stop the video, try to do it. Try to find how to do it in 3 different ways. And I will give you now the solution. So the first solution is you lift your right knee, and then of course it doesn't go any further. So what you can do is to slide your right foot. See? Slide your right foot to the right slide your right foot to the left. So you can flip your knee around. Easy enough, isn't it? Be careful with your knee. Don't hurt your knee. Be very soft and careful with this movement. Okay, second solution. I call it the windshield wiper. Your left leg can move to the left and to the right. Try to bring your right knee over. It doesn't go any further. Then you start to move your left leg to the other side. Move the left leg. And when you move the left leg, you can flip your knee over. Easy enough, isn't it? Do this a couple of times. Try to enjoy the movement as well. Now, the third solution, three. I think in Europe you say 3, and in Asia you say 3, or do you say like 3? How do you do it? How do you do it in your country? Leave a comment below. So the third solution is to roll your pelvis. So instead of moving your feet, you roll your pelvis, like we did lying down. You roll your pelvis to the left, you roll your pelvis to the right. Also do this a couple of times until you feel it smooth enough. Until you feel, I'm getting good at this. Oh, this is no problem anymore. Okay, that was easy. All right. And then we'll do it with the other leg. So please come in opposite position with your right leg long, with the left leg folded behind you, leaning on your right hand, with the left hand on your left knee, and start to lift your left knee. Lift the left knee, and then it doesn't move any further unless either you move your foot to the inside and to the outside, or you slide your long leg to the left and to the right like a huge windshield wiper. Or you roll your pelvis. Roll the pelvis to the right is more difficult. Roll the pelvis. How to do it? Where to put the microphone? Okay. How to roll the pelvis to the right. What's up? Why doesn't it work in this direction? Here, all right. And then here. And here. And like this. And like this. And like this. Phew, it works. I can do a differentiation of the head. Look into the other direction. And then look in the same direction where I turn the pelvis. 1, 2, 1. Or in the opposite direction. 2, 1, 2. So, after having that done, please take a rest onto your back. Now, please bring your feet to standing again. Get a hold of your right knee with both hands and just feel how it is. Do the same movements again. The right knee to the outside, to the inside. Ooh. See how far it goes. For me, it is more, I can go more to the inside than before. Lots of tension got released. Quite interesting. And up and down. Circles with your knees. See what you can feel in your knee when you do. How loose your lower leg is. How loose your right foot is. How nice it is to do the circles compared to the beginning. Do circles with your foot, your right foot. Up and down, left and right. Circles left, circles right. Small circles, big circles, circles with the heel. All the things we did in detail in the beginning. Circles with the lower leg. How is this compared to before? You can get hold of your right foot with your right hand, and with your left hand you hold your right knee. Just feel, how is this? Oh, nice. Try to touch, to bring over your left knee. Your right knee over your left knee. So you bring your right foot to the outside, and you roll over to bring your right knee onto your left side. Just what we did before. See how does it feel different? Can you feel more details? Then get hold of your left knee. Try the basic movements with your left knee, left and right. Just in the hip joint without the pelvis. Circles up and down, and then circles. Then hold your left knee in a comfortable position. Work with your left foot. Up and down, with the toes leading, or the toes last, or the heel leading, left and right. Circles with the toes. Then get hold of your left foot with your left hand. Circles of the lower leg. Then try to bring your left knee over to your right side. See how that goes now. Interesting. Then take a break or a rest. So we arrive at the end of the lesson. If you are a very subtle, very flexible person, you can add one more movement if you like, just to continue a little bit, which would mean to bring up your knees, get hold of your right foot with your right hand, and of your left foot with your left hand. And in this position, you can do circles with your feet. Feet to the outside, feet together, feet up, feet down, or just circles on the outside. For me, I cannot do it. Then, the last thing we need to do is get up to standing and feel how this feels in standing, how the hip joints are now organized, how they feel like, how they are ready for standing and to support the body to stand upright. So we need to do this. Please come up to standing. And feel, how is it? When you have your weight on your right leg, when you have your weight on your left leg. Can you feel your hip joints, the balls of the upper legs? Take a step forward, take a step backwards. Just feel how you're balancing on your legs, on the hip joints, how the hip joints are moving in your pelvis. Try to balance your head on top, that your head is balanced like you would balance a basketball on your finger. So the head is just balanced on top, and take a few steps and feel your hip joints, how that feels like. Feel your knees, how are your knees? And then we conclude this lesson, is finished. And if you like the lesson, please like the lesson, leave a comment or a question, and see you in the next video.